Joy Labs.
Hi, I'm Tonya. Today I'm going to show you how to make and freeze Millionaire Shortbread. Our family got to take a trip to the United Kingdom. While we were there, during the day it was winter and it was cold, and sometimes we'd dash inside to a cafe to rest from doing tourist things. Drink something hot or maybe a Diet Coke. Often the cafes had something wonderful called Millionaire Shortbread. It's a layer of shortbread with caramel and chocolate on top, kind of like a fancy Twix. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make and freeze Millionaire Shortbread. Before we start, be sure to subscribe or like this video so I know what kind of videos you want for the future. When we got back from the United Kingdom, I needed to find out how to make Millionaire Shortbread for myself. Google is a wonderful thing. On the first page of Google, there were many Millionaire Shortbreads, and about the first 7 I looked at. I ended up going with these 4 recipes. Now you may be saying to yourself, Tonya, why are you talking about making shortbread? Aren't you supposed to be showing us about freezer meals? Well, in my quest to find the ideal Millionaire Shortbread recipe, I know that I'm going to have a lot of shortbread, and I shouldn't eat that much Millionaire Shortbread all at the same time. So I'm going to show you how to freeze Millionaire Shortbread. I'm going to make more Millionaire Shortbread than one person should eat at a time. The solution? Freeze some for later. All the different Millionaire Shortbreads we tried in the United Kingdom were slightly different, so there isn't one special exact recipe. It's more personal taste. How am I going to find the best recipe? Some of you may be a bit like me. I made a chart. There are 3 layers: shortbread, caramel, and chocolate. Shortbread is a simple cookie made from ingredients on hand. I charted the amounts of butter, sugar, flour, and salt in the 4 recipes. Watch the pan size. One recipe is for a 9 by 13 pan, so I halved that recipe. The other 3 recipes are for an 8-inch square pan or a 9-inch square pan. These are not that different, so I don't have to adjust the amount of those ingredients for my own 9-inch square pan. 3 recipes are very similar and 1 is rather different. I decided to make 2 versions of my Millionaire Shortbread. I'll label 1A and 1B. A will be a modification of the 3 recipes since they're so similar. B will be the very different recipe. For the caramel layer, 3 of the recipes use sweetened condensed milk, and 1 uses packaged caramels. So I'm going to do sweetened condensed milk for A and the packaged caramel recipe for B. For the chocolate, 1 recipe just melts chocolate and pours it on top. I know when slicing cooled chocolate, it's solid, and I don't ever remember having to crunch down on the chocolate layer in any of the Millionaire Shortbread in the United Kingdom. So I'm not going to do those recipes. The other 2, 1 mix melted chocolate with melted butter, that's going to be my A, and the other is melted chocolate with cream, heavy cream, and that will be my B. Making the shortbread. The finished Millionaire Shortbread needs to be sliced on the counter, not in the pan. So I need to put something in the pan that I can remove the Millionaire Shortbread when it's done to set on the counter to slice. So I'm using aluminum foil. Whether the recipe calls for it or not, definitely use some cooking spray on the foil and the pan. After pressing the crumbly shortbread into the pan, I pricked it with a fork, whether the recipe said to or not. This helps the caramel adhere to the shortbread layer. Shortbread B is a little bit different. It has an egg yolk and water. So that shortbread wasn't as crumbly, it was more sticky. And we'll have to see how that comes out taste-wise. Not quite as authentic, but we'll see how it tastes. The caramel you'll need to use a candy thermometer because the caramel has to get to a certain temperature to be right. It will feel like the temperature is stuck. Don't be tempted to increase the heat because you may burn your caramel and waste all your time. All of a sudden the temperature will go up to where you need it and you'll be done. For the chocolate, it's simple to melt the chocolate over the stove with the butter or with the heavy cream. I use a metal spoon just to keep the chocolate from sticking on the bottom and getting a little burnt as we go. Make sure you give your shortbread plenty of time to cool and solidify before you try cutting it. For my shortbread A, I left it on the counter overnight, and that's when it was usable and easy to slice the next day. For shortbread B, I didn't have time to let it set overnight, so I put it in the refrigerator, and it's still a little bit gooey. You'll see that later. It's a little bit more of a challenge to slice. And here are our results. We have A, and here are the results. Version A and version B. Which one's better? Depends on your taste buds, what you're used to, what you like. Which one's better? Well, depends on which kind you prefer. It's all about your taste. I'll give you the recipe that I prefer, but go ahead and play with this. Do what you'd like to make it your own. To freeze the Millionaire Shortbread, we need to make sure that air isn't touching the surface. That's what causes freezer burn. I'm going to wrap each piece individually in saran wrap. And here is one. It's actually A, all wrapped up. Now, I don't really want to sit around and wrap individual pieces like this to put in the freezer. Instead, I'm looking at the freezer container that I'm going to be putting it in. I have a shallow one and a deep one, and I cut here's version A, the size that will fit in the container that I'm going to freeze. When this thaws, it will be easy to slice into individual pieces. And typically in the United Kingdom, they would sell them on a plate this size, and then our family would just take a table knife and cut it into quarters and share. So I'll just wrap that up in my saran wrap, put it in my freezer container. When I want to have some of this wonderful Millionaire Shortbread later, I just have to take the container out of the freezer, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then I have plenty of delicious Millionaire Shortbread. Or you can just take one piece out of the freezer at a time for a special treat that evening. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like or subscribe my videos. That helps me know what you want to see, and it costs you nothing. I'm Tonya.